celebrate 20 years of the TV icon Buffy.
Yes, Buffy the Vampire Slayer came on the air in 1997. Can you believe it's been that long? That's insane.
So to celebrate, we figured we'd do the top 10 things that make Buffy great. And for those of you unfamiliar with Buffy, one, I'm not sure why you chose to click on this video, but we'll give you a quick breakdown of what it's about. Buffy the Vampire story, follows the story of Buffy Summers, a girl in the Hellmouth of California.
She moves to Sunnydale and unfortunately doesn't escape from her slayerness like she thought she was going to.
So for 7 seasons, we get her and her Scooby gang, her best friends, just battling vampires, battling demons, battling monsters.
Along with her watcher.
And we just get to see them try and save the world.
Many, many times.
So for those of you interested, we highly recommend you check it out. So for our top 10 moments, we thought we'd start off with number 10, the villains of Buffy.
They're probably the most important thing, I think, to make the seasons, because without the Buffy villains, you really don't have anything.
She'd have no one to battle.
No.
And they're rich, developed characters that really kind of make you feel the importance of her battling them.
They really are. They're amazingly developed. They're well written. They're just they've got many, many layers to them. They're not just one-dimensional.
And like Buffy moved away at the time from the tradition of having bottle episodes where they fight this villain to serialized villains.
Yes.
Where it spans over like a season arc.
Yeah, an entire season will be devoted to one villain while she's also fighting many other demons and such in episodes. Who would your favorite have to be?
My favorite villains are one-off, the Gentleman.
Scariest villains ever on Buffy.
Little me was scared to open a door after that episode.
I didn't sleep for a week. My mom actually almost made me quit watching Buffy after that.
It speaks to the testament of how scary they are because the episode's silent.
It was 100% silent, and to this day, it's the only TV show in television history to do a completely silent episode.
It's incredible, and for those of you not familiar with the Gentlemen, they're just demons who make the town go silent and steal your heart. That's how you do a one-off villain.
It was very well done.
Like, what's your favorite villain?
So my favorite is the mayor from season 3.
He was perfect because he's so charismatic.
Right?
He seems like a good guy.
Everyone loves him. Everyone just loves him. And then he turns out to be the worst guy in the whole world.
He's the worst kind of villain because you see how manipulative he is. Like the way he plays Faith. It's insidious.
He played her like a fiddle and just messed with her mind so bad.
Like he knew how to play those daddy issues.
He did.
And so he's the worst kind of villain because he can play you individually and he'll also work to end the world. We want to do a couple shout outs to another villains. They're not our favorite, but they're super important.
They're very important. So the first shout out, even though the first season is extremely cheesy, the first shout out has to go to the Master.
That was perfect. It set us up for what to expect each season.
He really did. He wasn't just a villain that came out and just wanted to destroy the world for the sake of destroying the world. He came out as a villain with a purpose.
Again, this broke with TV tradition to have a master plan. Then we also have to shout out the Dick of the Century Warren.
Yes.
That guy was straight up awful to his friends.
Season 6 villain. Couldn't stand him. Probably, and the fact that he was human, he wasn't even a demon or a monster that you could aid. He was a human.
He's just a jerk. Like, he's a misogynist. He has his creepy sex spots.
He's such a woman
awful
hater
to his friends.
Yeah.
He killed Tara.
Right?
Like, he's a loser.
You can't forgive him for killing Tara.
It felt really good to see Dark Willow flay him in the season finale.
It really, yes, I admit, that was a highlight for me. I've never screamed at someone dying on TV before.
It felt good.
It did. I cheered.
And then we have to shout out the first.
We do, because they epically foreshadowed the first in an episode in season 3 called Amends. And then all of a sudden, he ended up being the final big bad for the 7th season.
It's just so messed up how it
was
people who were dead.
Right?
And that's heartbreaking when that one Slayer, like the little baby Slayers who they take in, when she's been dead the whole time.
And she's just been the first has just been chilling with all the Slayers in Slayer camp.
Slowly making them doubt themselves.
Yeah.
Like, that's evil.
That's intense.
And as a bonus, we get a good old Alberta boy. We get Nathan Fillion that season with Caleb. That character would not have worked without Nathan Fillion.
It wouldn't have at all. And he just brought so much emotion to it. Like his anger in certain parts, you could actually like feel that he just hated these girls.
It's that charisma coming out.
It was, yeah.
And he pulled off the kind of the priest look.
The priest
it
look.
made it scarier. Since season 7 brought the villains, we had to pay respect.
Oh yes, definitely.
Coming in at number 9, we got to talk about the side characters.
We do. The side characters were so important. You can't forget them.
Like, they may not have been exclusively part of the Scooby Gang, but they were still richly developed characters you came to care about.
And they were epically important to the story.
Right? Like, we have to mention Tara.
She, to me, is probably one of the most heartbreaking characters. She had such like a bad life. Like her family treated her so bad. And then for her to just die because some jerk decides to randomly shoot off a gun.
Like, and it was nice because she helped Willow kind of develop into the fantastic witch she is.
She did, and the sad thing is like Willow and her had just gotten back together when she died.
We gotta talk about Willow's first boyfriend, Oz, the werewolf.
Daniel Osborne.
He was charming. It sucks how it ended.
It does.
But like, you were rooting for him.
We were,
and
yeah.
He helped that world feel real.
And the fact that he became a werewolf because his little cousin bit his finger is the best story
amazing,
ever.
And we got to do my shout out to Riley. Never liked him, I'll be honest.
I don't agree with that.
You needed him for the story.
You did. I liked Riley in season 4 because he was this army guy who just thought he was doing good. Turns out he wasn't, but
And he was like a nice palate cleanser in comparison to Angel.
he was. Buffy had just come off of Angel. She needed like a
Crazy
good,
vampire.
normal guy.
And he seemed normal at first. He wasn't.
Nope.
That's Buffy.
Yep. Nothing is normal about Buffy.
We're obliged to mention Cordelia.
Of course, you gotta mention Cordy.
She tried her best.
My favorite moments of Cordelia was when she would be like in the bronze and shit would be going down, and then all of a sudden she'd be like, it was awful, I almost died, and they almost ruined my outfit.
What?
That was like her biggest concern.
Look how sassy she was. Like, she's just a great character, and she's kind of the voice of doubt.
She is, and the way she grew from the first season on
Right.
was a lot. Like, I think I noticed her the most out of
Especially
anybody.
for a side character.
Yes.
To go from just kind of in high school to like a semi-member of the Scooby Gang. Off our favorite side characters, I gotta talk about my girl Drusilla.
Oh, little cute, insane Drusilla.
My favorite vampire. Like, we debated if she's a villain or not, and we can't count her
We
as a
don't
villain.
count her as a villain.
She's just kind of this tragic character.
It's because Angel made her insane, and then so she's...
It's crazy finding out how much Angel f***ed with her.
Yeah, like, I was a little shocked by that when I first watched it, because I loved Angel so much.
It was heartbreaking, and it was nice because it kind of showed us the softer side of Spike.
Yeah.
To see how he cared for her.
He, like,
'cause she's so
treated her
fragile.
with kid gloves. Like, he was so sweet with her.
That's why I loved her, because I never knew what to expect from
No,
Drusilla.
it was always, like, fresh with her.
Okay, and for number 8, we gotta shout out the feminism.
We do. That's the whole premise of the show.
Like, Buffy gave little girls like a feminine hero to cheer for.
And it was one of the first of the shows to actually fully center around a female heroine.
Well, and it was nice because she didn't just have to be a badass. She
No.
was allowed to feel.
Exactly.
And they broke the horror trope where the little blonde is just at the mercy of the horror villain.
Yeah, where she would just die in a back alley. Instead, the monsters had to fear her. For it to be in the 90s like that was actually very, like,
It's nothing comparable.
no, like, it was a first of its kind, and it's actually set a precedent ever since. And, like, to me, nothing will top Buffy for that.
In the ending, like, I'll be honest, I do find the series finale kind of hokey.
It was hokey.
It's
It
what
was.
you need for the series. Right? All the girls are endowed with the power to do what they want.
It ended perfectly. It made Buffy so she wasn't all by herself anymore.
Like, it was just like the perfect kind of cherry on the cake.
Yeah, it was a perfect ending for me.
Buffy gave us an array of strong female characters to choose from because you have someone like Willow,
You do, yes.
where she's not badass like Buffy, but she's badass in her own way. Or someone like Anya, who kind
Yeah.
of struggles in the transition to being human.
Even her mom, Joyce Summers.
Joyce, actually, yeah.
She is a badass in her own right, man.
Like,
All of the females in that show I found were very just powerful.
and just real women. And we don't always get that even today.
So for number 7, we are actually going to talk about the Scooby Gang now.
The heart of the TV show.
I'm going to have to start off with my guy Xander. Of how he was in such denial when the show first started, and then all of a sudden they lose his friend Jesse, and I feel like that was a major impact for him being like, hey, I'm going to help fight this because I don't want to lose anybody else.
It was like awesome to see him kind of take all the little Slayers under his wing. Like, he stepped up when he had to.
He really did.
He's the heart of the Scoobies, if there's a heart.
The dude lost his eye for them.
He was a good guy, and we got to talk about Willow.
Of course, you can't talk about
The
the
most
Scoobies
powerful
without.
witch in the world.
Who wasn't even a witch to start with.
She started off, she's probably my favorite evolution. Just when you look at season 1 Willow, who looked like she wandered in at a Lilith fair,
7, yeah.
to like Dark Willow, to the season
7
finale.
Willow,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
Well, she went from being the absolutely nerdy girl who was all like really upset because
Just
she didn't think
nervous.
anybody would date her, or like she had
Yeah.
normal
She was
high school girl
insecure.
feelings.
Like, she was that insecure girl who's not sure where she fits in,
Yeah.
not sure how she's gonna impact the world, well, confident.
She does, and I just love where they took her character, minus the whole Dark Willow.
Oh, I
thing.
love Dark Willow.
Like Dark
And
Willow.
even the fact that they use her to kind of, it's like a very special episode when she starts abusing dark magic.
That's true, yeah. And she almost kills Dawn. That
Right.
was an insane episode.
They knew how to work this character.
Yes, they did.
And we got Giles, the
Oh.
Watcher.
I love him so much.
It's just nice to see him going from mentor for Buffy and the gang to them
being their
equals.
friends, yeah.
They're friends and they're equals, ready to just conquer the world.
He goes from being the fatherly figure to just being their friend.
And like, I like how you learn a little bit about his backstory, you know, the Watchers and how they work, and the fact that he kind of broke protocol with Buffy.
He broke a lot of protocol with Buffy. Like, he was a badass, and then all of a sudden he wears tweed and is like,
I love that transition from like little English badass to kind of proper English gentleman.
yeah.
And we got it, like, there's Dawn, the little sister who
Oh,
came out
God.
of nowhere.
She just randomly showed up.
She took a while to grow on you. Your own. That'd be hard being
I
like
mean-
the Slayer sister.
I mean, I guess it would be hard. I understand she was written as a normal teenage girl, but like, Michelle Trachtenberg went like overboard with the complaining and the whining.
That was still a great reveal though, when you're like, where did this sister
Yeah,
come
where she
from?
walks into the room and then both of them shout mom. And
They made her feel like part of the gang.
yeah, well, I really liked that Joss knew that they were going to kill Joyce off so early, because then that's why they brought Dawn in, because they didn't want Buffy to be
Yeah.
all alone. So I like that they were thinking that far ahead, but
I saved the best for last. Anya.
oh, Anya and her bunnies.
She's the best comedic relief. And it's
She
awesome
is.
seeing this like badass vengeance demon try and transform into like a regular human being.
All of her sexual references.
I love it so
and innuendos,
much.
because she doesn't have a filter.
Like,
It's like the best thing.
Like the perfect comedic relief, and she did not deserve to die in the finale.
She did not deserve to die.
Because she's a good person inside.
She is.
For number 6, Buffy is the perfect 90s time capsule.
It really is. I love it so much.
Oh, that clothing is amazing. Like, if I was to give someone a video to be like, hey, you wanna know what the 90s were like?
This is it right here.
Like, Willow's clothing, on point.
Buffy's clothing.
Right?
On point.
Matching sunglasses.
Right?
Like, just the different bands they would get at the bronze. Like Sarah McLachlan.
And then Naked.
Dingoes Ate My Baby.
Chibo Motto.
Velvet Chain.
Darling Violetta.
The Nerf Herders who did the theme song.
Exactly. And then you have Michelle Branch.
Like, it's so 90s, it hurts.
It really is.
Episodes are so 90s, like they're kind of nostalgic to watch.
That's very
Like when
true.
Willow gets her accidental online boyfriend who's actually Marduk, the evil god of
And
death.
the computers are so big.
Like, it's so
And
90s, I love it.
the internet is all dial-up, might I add.
It's perfect. You know what, Buffy's just that nice little glimpse of the 90s.
Well, going into number 5, we are going to talk about the most shocking moments of Buffy.
And there are so many to choose from. Like, one of the ones, like, I just want to shout out, not my favorite shocking moments, it's when Buffy's mom dies.
That is the most heartbreaking one.
And it's so shocking because it's so normal.
Yeah, it's
There's-
very humanized.
Like, there's nothing Buffy could have done.
Yeah.
There's no vampire she could have slayed. There's no demon she could have murdered.
There's no way she could have
There's
prevented
nothing
it.
she
It
could
was
do.
very human.
Like, Like, the whole episode is like that, where it's them just feeling like, okay, so I have to go to the hospital now. Okay, I have to go to the morgue. Nothing supernatural about it. It's not a Buffy episode.
It's
a
literally
human
just
episode.
a human episode.
Like, it's awesome. What's one of your favorite shocking moments?
This is also the saddest one for me because I can remember bawling my face off so hard, and that is when Buffy had to kill Angel.
It's because it's just one shock after another.
It really is.
They have sex, and his pure happiness is that.
Yeah. Nice job.
And then to have that, for him to go like straight up evil, only to turn good again, and Buffy still has to knife him. We gotta talk about when Buffy dies.
Of course, you can't have shocking moments without Buffy dying.
So like when Buffy throws herself off like the tower to save her sister.
Yeah.
It's also a little nod to be like, bye, like WB, so they can move to UPN.
See you later.
It's just a nice little bit of storytelling. Because I'm like, she's coming back, and it leads to another one of my favorite shocking moments. When you find out she was in heaven in the musical episode.
Yeah, that breaks my heart every time. I'm like, are you serious right
I
now?
remember watching it. It had honestly never occurred to me that she was in heaven.
No, because everybody thought she was so distraught and stuff because she'd been in like this hell all the time. And then it turns out she literally got ripped out of
her
heaven.
friends took her out of heaven.
Yeah.
That's heavy. And that's so shocking to finally be revealed that this is why she's having a hard time.
Yeah.
After fighting all these monsters and vampires, she found peace only to have it taken away. Like, we already talked about this, but when Tara gets shot,
Yeah.
it was just
Willow's
so
face,
unexpected.
like how Willow screams,
Heartbreaking.
that was literally like, well done, Allison Hannigan. That was wonderful acting.
And especially because Tara was one of, like, she's innocent.
She was literally like she never hurt anybody.
No, she's just
That
like
girl
a
was
good
just-
girl. The season 6 episode where you're not sure if Buffy's crazy or not.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
To this day, it makes me doubt what's real.
Yeah, because you've got her and like in the psych ward, and her mom and dad are there, and they're
Come on,
like, "You're
you need
insane."
to get out of this imagination.
Yeah.
There's no demons. And when she makes that choice to be like, no, I'm gonna believe Sunnydale's real.
Yeah, and then poor Dawn is like sitting there, and they're like, "You have to kill Dawn to be able to be in our world." So Dawn is like, "Don't kill me, I'm your sister."
That's the highlight of season 6. And then our most shocking moment, Buffy and Spike sex.
Ugh.
They destroy a fucking building. It's so
They destroy
passionate.
a house.
Violent.
It's disturbing.
A healthy relationship.
That
And
was-
that first hookup shows it because they destroy a house because it's hate sex.
Well, exactly.
It was just straight up shocking for this villain who tried to kill her. She
So
tried
many
to kill
times.
him, and now it's come to this, like, perfection.
It was, yeah, that was insane. Maybe on to number 4.
We saved an entire spot just for Buffy.
Because Buffy is such a badass. You can't help but save a spot for
You
her.
gotta give Sarah Michelle Gellar praise for how good of an actress she is.
She is phenomenal. Like,
She took a beating to play Buffy.
she did.
That's why it looks real when she's taking out these guys twice her size.
Well, and just her emotion, like that, to this day, when that girl cries, I'm
real.
instantly in tears.
Like, she's just such a good actress.
She is.
And Buffy is just such a lovable misfit.
Yeah.
And I love, like, just the little human moments with Buffy. Like, when she tries to get a job after her mom died.
Oh my gosh, and she has to work at that fast food
Like,
place.
it's just those little moments with Buffy that count.
And then we're
Perfect. She has the comedy down, she has the tragedy down, and she conveys how broken Buffy is.
yeah, like all poor Buffy wants to be is a normal girl, and she doesn't get it.
It's one of the reasons I buy Buffy and Spike. I
Yeah.
don't support Buffy and Spike.
But you
But
buy
I
it.
buy why she would kind of go for him. He's
Yeah.
damaged too. She's looking for someone like her, and the whole series.
It's
is
why
about,
her and Angel worked.
Well, the whole series is about her trying to find her place.
Yeah. But we also can't talk about Buffy without talking about how she could have ended up like Faith.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have had her mom and her friends and even her
To keep her
watcher.
grounded.
She very easily could have been Faith.
It's a nice foil to show, like, here's what happens when you have a Slayer who's not a good person,
Yeah.
who has like the wrong person whispering in her ear. It shows the strength Buffy has on the inside.
Yeah.
And it's what makes her a hero. Not to just be tough.
There's
You can have moments of being soft too. It's what makes you human.
Yeah.
Number 3, we gotta talk about Buffy and Angel. We've
Ah.
been saving it.
my favorite couple ever.
And we got a spin-off show out of it. It shows the strength of like Angel's character.
I love them.
There's a reason none of Buffy's other boyfriends compare.
Yeah, because she was meant to be with Angel. Angel was her soulmate.
Well, Angel got her. And it was just like that perfect tragedy.
Yeah.
Where they can't be together.
Well, yeah, especially because, like, he was a vampire and he couldn't be part of the real world, but Buffy also couldn't be a normal girl.
Right. And
so
she's supposed to kill vampires.
yes, it was like a twisted Romeo and Juliet story, and it was.
They pulled the curtain back on Angel. Cause
Yes.
Like, from the start, you think he's a good guy. Sure, he's a vampire, but he's a vampire with soul.
Yeah.
But then you find out all the shitty
He
things
was
he
an
did.
insane.
Like, he was not a good person.
No, Angelus was pure evil. And that's the thing, like Sarah Michelle Gellar to this day, they just did the 20th reunion for EW. They had this amazing spread. In the spread, Buffy and Angel are holding hands, and it's the cutest thing ever. But Sarah Michelle Gellar to this day still says Joss Whedon messed up and should have had Buffy and Angel for Endgame.
Chemistry between Sarah Michelle Gellar and David Boreanaz is incredible.
It was.
It worked out getting these guys cast together.
Yes.
That's
It was-
like, we had to pay homage to one of the better TV couples out there.
Number two. We cannot do a Buffy video without paying homage to the creator of Buffy himself, Mr. Joss Whedon.
I would argue it would be hard to find a director who's had this big of a cultural impact.
I agree. Like, he's everywhere now. And Buffy and Angel are
Open
both
that door.
cult classics. Like, they're still so loved to this
Because
day.
they hold up to this day because of his sharp writing and his directing.
Yes, and his wit.
Something we wanted to address. There was a recent letter published by Whedon's ex-wife saying
Scandals.
like he can't be a feminist because he cheated on her. Yeah, it's shitty he cheated on her. Like, that's not the best thing to do to your wife. But that doesn't mean you can't write strong female characters.
No, it doesn't affect the characters he's created
Like,
or his writing. It's
Your work is separate from your personal life. That foundation for this is how you can write a fully formed female character.
yeah, and not make them over sexualized and like
And the opposite, where you can be a badass and still be pretty.
yeah, and you can be a badass and still show feelings and be emotional.
Like, you don't have to be like aliens cool, love Ripley, but you don't have to be like a badass Ripley. You can also be Buffy.
Yeah, follow
The
him.
fact that he was able to turn that movie into this cult icon TV show, like, props. He took like a diamond in the rough and made it shine.
Yeah, a lot of people had lost faith in the Buffy brand because of the 92 movie. So the fact that he was able to come back from that and then have this amazing 7-season just run was phenomenal.
Yeah. So thank you, Joss Whedon, for Buffy.
You're amazing. We love you.
Number one, guys. I hope you're ready. Are you ready?
Yay!
We thought we'd talk about the long cultural impact of Buffy.
And the fact that 20 years later, this show is still epically touching people's
And
lives.
fans still love it. Like, we went to the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo this year.
Yes.
People were lining up to see James Marsters, the guy who played Spike. Speaks to how this TV show touched people. Where 20 years later, they still care so much. Buffy had that big of a cultural impact.
Yeah,
It changed the way we do TV. It changed the way we represent women. Pop culture is different because of this television show.
Yes.
And we just want to respect that.
But the cultural impact of this is the fact that they're still getting new fans all the time. They are re-releasing the 20th anniversary edition, which has sold out across the world. Like, you can't get it everywhere. They've got like millions of action figures and all this stuff that you can get. And
they're still plugged into it. Like, if you ever tweet about Buffy or write about Buffy, people are on
they're
it.
drawn to
They're
it
like-
instantly.
Speaking as someone who does journalism and writes articles, my biggest article was one about James Marsters. People love Buffy.
They do, yeah. It's awesome because you can just go to a Comic-Con and you will see so many people dressed up as them and just paying homage to these fabulous characters.
Our lives were changed by Buffy. I don't think that's an overstatement.
No, have been a fan since I was 7 years old.
We grew up with it.
Yeah.
And it's rewatchable to this day.
It really is.
Anyway, it's not about what we think, it's about what you think. So let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.